everyone. As I said, my name is Sarah Mcarthur, and I am the first to present today. Power of XYZ is a multimedia company online, and what we do is we create logo, branding, website, social media for people in the violence prevention and empowerment self-defense world. And we really focus on storytelling in the opportunity to really discover why people are doing what they are doing and then help them to bring that into the product, the collateral, the logos, the design, the brand that they are presenting to the world. And our hope is to be able to amplify the voices of those who are doing violence prevention and empowerment self-defense in an effort to make it well known and make it more accessible to those in the world. And that being said, one of our main purposes is to help be storytellers of our clients as they come in. And so I thought I would start my session with a little bit of a storytelling background. So just so you know, there can be a content warning as I am a survivor, but I wanted to share just a little bit with you about the journey to getting here. I have wrestled a little bit with the title of this session, going back and forth. I think I had stories of the generations before, and now I have brought it into choices for the next generation. So I'm going to talk a little bit about how I am here today, but that comes with knowing where I've come from. And I want to start with my family generation of my grandma. I want to honor Anna Trujillo. She passed away in November of last year. It was a very difficult loss for our family, as she has been the matriarch of their family. My grandma is somebody who feels like comfort to me. She had the very best of hugs, but there was something more when I was little that I remember. She had a daycare, and I enjoyed being there. I remember the feeling of it. I remember the experience of being excited for snack time because there was going to be fruit roll-ups. Those are the type of things that I remember. But how my grandma got to that place was a series of opportunities that came to her as a Hispanic woman to really get into areas that maybe wouldn't otherwise be available to her. And she was really fearless in her attempt to go after the things she wanted and to really achieve the next level of things that felt good for her. She was hesitant in the beginning from what I understand, but she was able to overcome those hesitations and to gain the education that she needed and to also have the opportunities that she needed. But also within my family, I'm going to ask everybody to mute if they wouldn't mind. Thank you. Within my family, we have generations of historical trauma. So mental health issues, trauma from sexual abuse or sexual assault, addiction issues, and domestic violence issues. So these have come down generations and generations, including my current generations amongst myself and some of my siblings. And so in our journey and our story of coming to the place of experiencing these traumas and then also finding ways of healing, each of us as our siblings and family have found ways to express our own healing. So our own healing for some of us have looked like therapy. Some have looked like going through different type of ceremonies. Some have looked like taking empowerment programs. So for me, 10 years ago, 11 years ago, I took empowerment self-defense, and it was extremely transformative to my personal life, my career, the trajectory of who I am today, because it allowed me to set boundaries. It allowed me to understand what boundaries were. It gave me the opportunity to communicate in a different way, to understand myself better, and then ultimately to know where my boundaries were, and to also physically to defend myself. What I found was that in the process of going through that is that things were restored to me that I didn't know I had lost. I didn't really understand boundaries, so I didn't really understand that I had a choice in how people treated me, and also how I chose to be in the world, and what I would choose for myself, and what I would choose for my own body, and what I would choose for my own well-being. So this opportunity that I had in, I believe it was 11 years ago, I took with Impact Personal Safety of Colorado. And in doing so, it was so transformative to me that I immediately got involved. I started volunteering, and I told everybody and anybody I could about it. And in doing so, soon the rest of my family, or many in my family, began to also participate in the program. So my mother, one generation above me, has participated. My brother, my sister-in-law, my younger sister, my older sister. And now the next generation would be my son has participated, and my twin nieces have also participated. And why this is important is because in my generation with my siblings, we have found ways in our own healing process to take our story, to take our family story, and to find ways that help us to be empowered, help us to be self-aware, help us to gain tools to provide a next generation choice. So what I mean by that is that through our own learning of boundary setting, communication skills, self-awareness, empowerment, and self-care tools, we're able to pass that on to the next generation. So that is a really exciting opportunity for us. Our stories consist of childhood traumas, of domestic violence in our own generation, and also of sexual violence and sexual assault. So our generation alone has experienced much trauma and much pain. And I myself am a survivor, and I myself am somebody who lives with complex PTSD as a result. And so my goal and my passion in life has been to how do we bring violence prevention to the next generation. So for us as a generation, we are a family of survivors, and we are a family of healers, and we are those who are doing our best to bring a next generation of choice. And by that, we are helping to bring empowerment tools. We are bringing communication tools and boundary setting to our children, and even my great nieces and my nephew. We're bringing a different type of parenting that allows us to understand our children's boundaries, to help them to process through their needs, and to communicate through requests, and to be able to share their emotion and their intelligence. And also it allows us to be open and honest with our own struggle with mental health issues, so that our children are, one, aware of them, but two, if they find themselves having challenge, it removes some of the stigma around mental health, and also it helps them to be more open in the things that they want to communicate in life. I know my son himself has taken our program with Impact Personal Safety of Colorado, and what I saw that it did for him was I saw that it helped him to think of different ways to communicate, to understand boundaries, to understand body boundaries, and to know that he had a choice to say yes or no to things that made him uncomfortable, and that he had the right to have boundaries around his own body and around his own being, of what felt good to him and what did not feel good to him. I've seen that he has had the opportunity to grow up in a different way and to have a life experience that is different than my own. He is well adjusted, he is happy, he knows he's well loved, and he has had the opportunity to walk through the world in a different way. I had the privilege this summer of being able to work with Impact Personal Safety of Colorado to private class for my brother, sister-in-law, and their twin daughters. And so the next generation and their family is able to take programming to learn about the empowerment, to learn about feeling safe, to learn about listening to their awareness and their intuition, and to bring communication skills to them as an entire family. So it's very exciting. It's something that I'm extremely passionate about. And it really helps shift the narrative in my family of honoring the history of who my family is and what we have collectively gone through, what my ancestors have experienced, and also honoring the generation that I'm currently in with my own family and my siblings, and the work that we do together, and the skills that we've acquired through empowerment, and the painful yet powerful work in healing of our own trauma, so that we can honor the next generation and the generation after that. So my son's generation is experiencing some of these skills and empowerment, and then the next generation after that is also receiving. So my great nieces and my great nephews are also part of a family who has empowerment tools that allows them to have voice, to have boundary, to have a different type of life. So it is with great honor that I get to share this story and to be able to talk about the power of choice. Because what I found in having healing and empowerment tools is that I came to what I do in a different space. I get to choose from a different place of what feels right to me, what my boundaries are, what my voice is, and it restored a voice to me where I didn't know I had one. So I'm thankful to be part of the violence prevention community, and I really look forward to the rest of the community. I'm going to go ahead and open up to any questions that anyone might have before the next session starts. Okay, the question is, can you tell us about your journey in defining ESD? So ESD stands for Empowerment Self-Defense. And for me, where I was in my life was feeling really afraid of the world. Actually, I really struggled to be out on my own. I really struggled to go and do things by myself. I always felt nervous that something bad was going to happen to me, and I'd felt this way for many years. And I really began to feel like it was paralyzing to me and my ability to really live life fully. It became such an issue that I was looking for a solution. And through a series of events, I found the book, The Gift of Fear by Gavin Debecker. And in finding that book, he talks about the power of empowerment self-defense. I had not heard about it before, so I began looking into it. And it just so happens that at the same time, an empowerment self-defense program, Impact Personal Safety of Colorado, was beginning, and I was able to take my first course. And after that, I dedicated my life to violence prevention and to bringing programs through empowerment self-defense to many women, children, teens, and those who identify as women, as well as families altogether. So it's been a real pleasure and an honor. From Dr. Yelena Nolan Roll, what was the greatest challenge that you encountered doing this work? I think for me, it has been making sure that I am keeping up doing my own work, because the work can be very heavy, and there can be a lot of trauma, is to really be able to take really good care of myself in the process of helping to bring skills and tools to others. And then also becoming self-aware enough to make sure that what my past experiences are and my own trauma doesn't create more pain or trauma for somebody else and their world. So I would say sometimes the heaviness of the work can be difficult, and I have become really self-aware, and it helps me to take care of myself in the process so that I'm able to continue the process of helping others with violence prevention.